My work rate when I was a fighter was so, I made guys work more than they wanted to work past their ability, and that's how I beat a lot of guys, because they were ready for that kind of pace. And I knew they had the same thing in them. Most guys don't train like they should these days. They're pampered, and they're crybabies, they want everything, but they don't want to work for it. This kid wanted to work and ready to do to get to it. So I knew he would do what I asked him to do, and I knew that the pace that he was set would be one that the mirror really couldn't deal with. And down the stretch, he started to fade. And so, in the future, he'll be a way better fighter, and the stamina issue will help him even more because of his work rate in these type of fights.
John, in tonight's fight, is there anything that you saw that you would like to work on or tweak in Chris's repertoire?
There are a few things that that he's still not doing that he could do better at. And we'll look at the fight and we'll talk about it. I'll show him, but he definitely did better than a lot of people gave him credit for. That we had given him, I would give him credit before the fight to do. He definitely showed that he's definitely a student of the game, and he's willing to listen and learn and execute the game. And that makes me proud of him because he took time to listen and learn, and then come fight night, he did it. He didn't just do it in the gym and come fight night, go back to his old style. He was willing to sacrifice his style and make him a better fighter using my style of teaching for this fight. And it worked for him. He didn't win, but trust me, he still came out way better than the
2 more questions.
John, are you confident that you will remain as head trainer? So many times we see fighters change trainers and then lose and change again. Do you think that Chris will stay with you even in this loss?
Why would he want to change? I mean, listen, he and I have a great
Can you just stand to the side?
bond. We're forming a great bond. And if what I did from work tonight, even in defeat, why would we go anyplace else? Who's going to teach him? Who's going to go there and show him how to fight a different fight that needs to be fought? That's my job, to make you better than what you already are at any type of style. And so, why would he go any other place? I mean, if he wanted to, who am I to stop him? But I doubt that he would at this stage.
John, in a perfect world, how much time do you want in between fights now for Algieri to basically get your hands on him, as you said, make the tweaks, make the changes, and start breaking his bad habits and getting to where you want to be going forward?
Well, since we're in that perfect world, I couldn't tell him this time. The next fight we'll start in, actually at this stage of his career and where he's at, it depends on the opponent, what we have to do. It's not so much just trying to tweak everything. It depends on the opponent on what we have to do. But, each opponent is different, so it allows me to work on different things with each passing fight.
Thank you, John.
Let Amir know 2 months ago that this kid was real determined he was going to come to fight. He was. And as I watched him this week at the press conference, I made a point to let him know all the other festivities and activities going on there. His mind was made up that he wanted to win, and that we wanted to discourage him, that he couldn't win. And I think that Algieri showed that tonight. I think he fought a very gallant fight, very determined, and Amir had to really settle in and buckle down to pull the victory out. I thought he counterpunched well. I would like to see him do more inside work and close the distance more. He's still a pup. Still relying on his lightning fast reflexes. I think this was a good fight for him, as I told some of the press earlier this week that questioned the fight, that he had a lot of pressure on him because the Mayweather and Pacquiao questions just kept coming. And then being a polite kid, he's answering all these questions, so it's not easy to focus on the task at hand when you constantly get asked about plan B, and you got to get past plan A. So I thought maybe that might have had a little effect on me, so I tried to do my best to keep him grounded, but it wasn't very easy because there wasn't no letup as far as those questions. Not only here, but in the writings and all. articles and things like that, you know, who's next and this and that, who's in line. So I thought, considering under the pressure that he was under, that it was a good mental fight, that mentally he came to a tough situation.
Virgil back here. Straight back. Congratulations. I have two questions. My first one is, it seemed early, second round, I think it was, Chris cracked Amir with a really, really good shot that sort of seemingly buckled Amir. Did you get any sense in the corner that he was hurt by that and that he needed a couple of rounds to kind of get himself together? And if so, what were you telling him to do early on to sort of bring himself back, how he had a dominant first round?
Well, you know, by having Amir now for a couple of years, he can get hit with a punch sometimes, and sometimes he'll take different steps and be on the move. It can really fool the eye. I think if you notice, whenever he was really hurt by a punch, either he went down, or I don't think we've ever seen him really buckle, except the Madonna punch, where it was obvious that he was hurt. But I think as long as he sees what's coming, that he can handle it, as he proved with the Madonna punch, was probably one of the hardest punches he's taken, but he saw the punch. Other punches he never saw, so. But he showed that he can get that resilience by getting up. I mean, not too many people that took the Garcia punch, but he got up and he was actually winning the round. He just went out and didn't think the next round. If he would have, he'd have won that fight. So, you know, I've learned from different fighters, if they get hit with a punch, Amir has such fast reflexes that you can hit him when he's starting a punch. So he can get caught off balance. But if he's hurt, what I've observed, he won't fight back. But immediately he came back with the right type of punches. So I'm not saying it didn't buzz. He might have asked him and he didn't complain about it. But he kept his head in the mouth of the cannon all night. So he didn't just sway. So I don't think I'll ask him.
Virgil, my second question for you is, you know, you mentioned the pressure because all the questions about Floyd Mayweather. Seeing what you saw tonight, which ultimately was a fairly clear decision victory for him here. Plan A, or letter A is now over, and now the questions about Floyd will start again. Can you give me your perspective on the prospect in your mind of Amir matching up with Floyd Mayweather Jr.?
Well, you know, I've been honest with him. When it comes to Floyd, that it's a fight that he's going to have to be real diligent about his preparation, and he's going to have to do what a young buck can do. He's going to have to fight over his head. You know, and every fighter, when they have a youth and they just keep going in the game and they sort of get in the groove one night, it's like Buster Douglas, anybody, they can just take it to another level, youth-wise. But I've always been honest with him and said his IQ will never match Floyd Mayweather's IQ, because the years of repetition and day in and day out doing the same thing, his body and mind just processes real quick. And that's the gift that he has. So you have to offset that with youth, just like we've seen in sports. You know, back to Villanova with Howard Porter. I mean, never was a good NBA player, but one night he lit up somebody in the championship game because he just played over his head. You know, and I think he has the attributes to take it to that level. And if he can lock in and prepare himself right for a fight of that magnitude and handle the pressure that comes along with it, I am confident he'll give a good account of himself.
Virgil, you spoke about the questions, and obviously everyone's going to ask Mayweather Pacquiao being the next option, but I'd like to ask about Keith Thurman. He's been very vocal as far as Khan's opponents and the way that Khan chooses his opponents. What would you think of a matchup between Khan and Keith Thurman, being as though that they have a common opponent in Julio Diaz, and now they'll have one with Luis Collazo once that fight happens?
Well, I think when you look at a scenario like that, styles make matches. You know, I know Keith is a very vocal young man and confident in his abilities. But if I have to be honest, Keith is stepping up a little bit himself. You don't see the knockouts like you used to see them. When you start going up in the A-leagues, they don't come as easy. And, by the media saying Khan is chinny and this, that, and the other, he's supposed to talk like that. But there's things I know about Keith Thurman that I won't say that you better watch his chin too. So, I know him way back from the amateur. I can tell you some things that shock you, but I don't know. But, at some point, that's probably going to materialize. I think Keith has a right to follow a path to maximize his earning potential. And these kids have to be careful not to be brought so soon to a match because other people want to see it. And then the match is over, and now what? I mean, you have paths in that welterweight division that can be carved out, and you can make some real great fights. But the fighters really deserve to be compensated for a fight of that magnitude, and not just take it because somebody wants to see them fight. But I believe that fight will materialize itself one day, and it's not going to be easy as Keith Thurman think it is.
Thank you, Virgil.
Okay, Chris is going to come in right now, and Virgil will come back.
Hello. Yeah, I'll start with the questions. You guys can fire away.
Hey Chris, I'm for Fight News. Great fight today. You were definitely more aggressive, you came forward more. Can you tell us more about your strategy for the fight and how it adjusted throughout the championship rounds?
The style was definitely to be aggressive and to put pressure on Amir, not let him rest. I don't think I took a backward step in the full 12 rounds. But we wanted to put the pressure on, impose my physical strength. I think I'm a lot stronger than people really know about, so we wanted to impose that early, and I felt that I was having great success. And especially early on, I felt that the pace was going to catch up to him, and the second half of the fight was going to be mine.
Question, can you describe the level of disappointment that you felt after you heard the decision that Khan won?
I'm a competitor, and I'm a fighter, so of course, I feel that I won the fight. I felt great in that. I felt that I was in control a lot of the rounds. There was action because I was pressing. I felt like I landed the cleaner, harder shots. I felt like I buzzed them several times throughout the fight. It's one of those things. That when that final bell rang, I thought it was definitely my fight. But it was definitely disappointing. It was surprising too. But that happens sometimes.
Chris, you switched trainers before this fight, John David Jackson. He said he was impressed with your work ethic through the camp. What are some of the biggest differences you've noticed you've made between the Pacquiao fight to now the Khan fight? Because you look like a different old fighter to most of us.
Mm-hmm. John should get a lot of credit, for what he did, but really he's just allowing me to be myself. That style that I fought tonight, like I said, I had fun. That's the way I want to fight. That's the way I like to fight. I like to be aggressive. I like to put pressure. I like to hit. I like to fight. So John is just kind of like, he gave me the okay to do that. So I ran with it.
Chris, it was Khan's, I guess, his motive with this fight was to have a common opponent of Pacquiao. Do you feel that he made a good enough impression with this win? I mean, obviously you felt you won the fight, but...
What do you think? What do you guys think? Was that a statement for Khan?
Chris, early in the fight, it seemed like he had no answer for your right hand. You were doing a great job. You were landing it at will. But then, right here, Chris.
Where is it? Okay.
But then there was an adjustment that Khan made midway through the fight where your right hand wasn't landing as much. Did you notice his adjustment, and what was it?
He started moving more. He wasn't right there in front of me for, I was counting the right hand over his jab. He switched the jab to the left hook. He was hooking right off the jab and coming back with the right hand and then coming up with the left uppercut. So that was kind of the adjustment. He kind of abandoned the jab because I was countering it over it so often. But then I switched kind of to the left hook, and left hook was giving me good success late in the fight.
Chris, was the the adjustment in weight, being a full-fledged 47 pounder, did that help you as much against his power, or was he just not? Did he just not have as much power as Provodnikov and Pacquiao?
You know, I felt real strong in that. I felt very strong. I felt great all week. You know, making the weight was easy. You know, and being in the ring with him. You know, he's been at welterweight for a couple fights now. I felt like the bigger and stronger man. So, you know, welterweight was a good move for me. In terms of his power, you know, I can't compare it really to a guy like Ruslan or even a guy like Pacquiao.
Hey, Chris, how you doing? This is Ryan Aegis from Behind the Gloves. Great fight tonight.
Thank you.
Fighter to fighter, did you have a sense that you had Amir shook at any point, or you got into his head during this fight?
He definitely knew he was in a fight. You know, and I'm not sure if they really expected that. You know, I can't really speak on how he feels, you know, going into the fight or during the fight. But you know, we were in a fight. You know, and it was a scrap, and you know, there were times where I felt that he was uncomfortable.
Hey Chris, congrats on a great fight. You know, I think everyone would agree that you raised your stock in defeat, and you know, especially with your style in there tonight. I know the fight just ended, but who would you like to fight next? You're in one of the best weight classes in boxing, especially with PBC guys. So.
You know, I'm really disappointed in the outcome of the fight, to tell you the truth, right now. I haven't really given much thought to what's going to happen after the fight. You know, leading up to this fight, I've been really focused on this. I've worked really hard in camp. You know, I worked really hard tonight. And like I said, I'm just disappointed right now. I need to I want to watch the fight, score it myself, and move on from there. You know, I think that if anything, I showed I belong. You know, and that you know, these top level guys, these elite guys, you know, this is where I belong. You know, I've been saying that the weeks leading up to this fight. I hope I prove that, you know, tonight, and I'd like to keep moving forward. And PBC is an awesome platform. It's really given a lot of us fighters a great opportunity, and it's great for the sport altogether.
Two more questions?
Chris, I know a fight with the Beer Con is kind of hard to pass up, especially after fighting Manny Pacquiao. But do you think if you had more time under John David Jackson, you could have worked on a few more different things, and maybe an outcome would have been a little more decisive?
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know, it's an opportunity. I've been the guy that's never passed up opportunities when they come up. You know, I think a lot of young guys miss huge opportunities in their career because they're not willing to take risks. You know, bigger risk, bigger reward. But you know, I said to John after the fight, you know, there's a couple things, you know, that we can still improve on. You know, balance being one of them. I felt off a couple times in there, but you know, all together, I mean, I felt great tonight. I really did. And like I said, I can't stress enough. I had fun in the ring tonight, and I can't really say that I've had that in a long time.
Going forward, how much time do you want in between fights now to work with John David Jackson? I know you're still, you know, a guy who's transformed from being a kickboxer to a boxer. You still have some kickboxing tendencies. How much time do you want to spend with John, sort of tweak yourself so you can hang now with any pure boxer, power boxer, and be a complete boxer?
No disrespect to kickboxing. I'm not a kickboxer anymore. I'm a boxer, guys. I'm a world champion. You know, the kickboxing thing, it was a part of my life. It was a career that I retired from years ago. I was a world champion there, but I'm a world champion boxer. Okay, I'm not a kickboxer turned boxer. That being said, you know, I want to get right back to work. You know, I love to train. You know, the lifestyle down in Florida with John has been very fruitful, and I had fun in camp. I had fun tonight, so I want to get right back to work and keep improving. You know, it's still improvement season. That's what I was saying after the Pacquiao fight. I got right back in the gym. It's only going up from here.
Fight's over with, in a long training camp, 13 weeks in, well 14 weeks in camp, and you know, I have a lot of respect for Algieri come to fight. I mean, you can see in someone's eye, you know, when they want to win, and I think he showed that he wanted to win. I mean, he kept pushing, kept coming forward, after catching him some good shots, but he was giving me back some shots as well. Obviously, you know, as every fight, you know, you want to work on your mistakes and stuff, and the last two fights were against southpaw fighters, so obviously going back to an orthodox guy, you know, and this is going to only give me confidence to work on my mistakes and come back stronger from it. But, you know, I have to just say, the crowd here in New York were amazing, the Barclays Centre were great with us, and I'd love to be back here one day. But, yeah, I'm happy with, you know, the way things have gone here in New York. Everyone was great. And it was a tough fight, and that's what people want to see. You know, people want to see us in tough fights, and they want to see us in exciting fights, and I'm sure the crowd were happy with it, because, you know, they were cheering very loud. But yeah, you know, there are still room of improvement. I'm getting better as I'm getting older, I'm getting wiser. Virgil, my trainer, you know, he's we had a little chat just before the press conference. Obviously, he's told me a few things I needed to do and I should have done. And we didn't really expect Chris Algieri to come forward like he did. You know, we thought he was going to be on the back foot, so that way we could start putting the pressure on him and breaking him down. But obviously, he showed a lot of heart in there and took some good shots and just kept coming back, and you know, he was standing there and was moving forward. So, but yeah, overall it was. I'm happy with the way things have gone. I'm going to go home and rest now. It's been a long camp, been away from the family a long time. Sometimes I just want to chill and just get away from boxing for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I'll go back in the gym and start training again. Thank you.
Is this the kind of performance that can warrant a fight against Floyd Mayweather?
I mean, styles make fights, and obviously Chris Algieri had a style which was, you know, very tough for me to beat. Obviously, he was very long-winded, very slick at times. But you know, I'm gonna go back home and watch the video and just see exactly how the fight went, and just I can answer that.
Amir, straight back. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Good to see you. Now that the fight is over, and you can call out Floyd or say you want to fight him or whatever, and you don't have to think about a Chris Algieri or some other opponent in your way before you can talk about that. How will you approach that? We've seen it before. You laid it on and just did everything you could possibly do to try to get Floyd to fight you. You took Maidana 2 times, understandably, then he fought Pacquiao. How do you approach it now? Do you lay it on? Do you say, hey, I won, I'm here, fight me? Do you talk to Al? What's your approach to try to land that fight?
You know, it's just one of the things that I've been chasing it a long time, and when you chase a fight, sometimes it's very hard to focus on who you have in front of you, and then you've got everyone saying that Chris Algieri was going to be a walk in the park, and I'm very happy I didn't take this might so lightly, because obviously I might have got beaten if I did. So then that dream for me would have been gone against Floyd. So I'm just gonna, you know, obviously let my advisor Al Heyman, my team, decide what's next for me. If it's not Floyd Mayweather, the other option, right? But obviously I'd look to have that Floyd Mayweather fight. You know, I really still believe that style make fights, and Floyd just has that style that will suit me. So let's just see. I mean, I'm gonna give it a week or two. I'm sure, you know, my team are gonna be onto it. My lawyer and everyone. I'm gonna just leave it to them. Really, I'm just gonna take a nice little break and see where we go from here. But I think, you know, with the last 3-4 fights at 147, well, 3 fights at 147, that's what Floyd wanted to see. He said, look, Amir, prove yourself at 147, have some fights at 147, then you know, we'll see if we get the fight done. I mean, I think I've proven myself, and who else is there out there for Floyd? I mean, nobody. So
nowhere to hide.
So nowhere to hide, really. I mean, I think we have answered probably all the questions, and people want to see something different in a fight, you know, with Floyd. Obviously, Manny Pacquiao didn't really show what we thought he was going to show in that fight, but I think I do know exactly what to do in that fight against Floyd. Obviously, you know, he's a very technical fighter, a very skillful fighter, but I've just known for a long time that, you know, a style like that would definitely suit me.
Hi, Amir. Congratulations again. You know, you obviously have the speed to give Mayweather problems, but you took a few, you know, clean shots tonight from Algeria, the overhand right, and why do you think that you could give Mayweather problems other than the speed? What about your style?
I did get caught at times, obviously, you know, changing up a little bit. Obviously, we had to change up in the corner while we was in the corner, and knowing that Chris was going to come forward and be a little bit more game, we had to change up a few things. But yeah, you know, I got caught with a few shots, and I think that shows that my cornermen were good, because then Virgil, when I went in the corner, Virgil told me off and said, look, it's not going your way. The way you're fighting it, you're giving it away in a way. So it made me reset, and with the instructions from Virgil Hunter, you know, I went there and I just did what I had to do, and so it shows and proves to me that, you know, having someone like Virgil in the corner will definitely make a massive difference in my career, and it is making a difference.
Amir, Chris Connor, Cyber Station Radio in Boston. If Mayweather turns you down, and there is a chance, unfortunately, that might happen, is Kell Brookman plan B, or is Adrian Broner, Sean Porter winner plan B, or is it Keith Thurman? What happens if Floyd says no?
I mean, first of all, where does Floyd go from here? You know, and on top of that, you know, he wants to fight in September. I'm okay to fight in September because Ramadan is gonna be a little earlier this year. But I'm just gonna leave it to my team. I'm not gonna, you know, let it get to me in any way. If that fight happens, you know, I'm one guy who wants that fight. I'm gonna be ready for it, and you know, I am going to be a different fighter in that fight. And obviously, you know, when you have a bigger picture in front of you, I mean, you have to remember, you know, I've had a lot of pressure on me from a lot in most of my fights. That's because they've always dangled that carrot, saying Mayweather's next. And obviously, sometimes, you know, as a young fighter, as a fighter, you're gonna look ahead and think, okay, you know what, I need to win this fight. So there is going to be pressure on you, thinking that next fight could be Floyd Mayweather. So, you know, sometimes that can. It can make you perform well, or it can make you perform bad, depending on your opponent. But I think I've dealt with that pressure for a long time now. I think it should happen now. Obviously, I've shown that, you know, I'm coming from all this pressure from Mayweather's team and everyone around the world who said, yeah, you should fight him next. How can I keep focused on someone like Algieri when everyone was, you know, saying that he's not really a good fight for me? I mean, it's like walking in the park, and I knew it was going to be tough. And everyone was putting him down, saying, why are you fighting him when, you know, you're someone, if you want to fight Floyd, someone like Floyd Mayweather. But I have to keep myself busy. You know, I'm a young fighter, I have to keep myself busy and keep taking over. If I don't, then I'm just going to stall. Like when I took that year waiting for Floyd Mayweather. So I think, I don't know, I've answered all the questions I have to. I've had all the fights, all the tough fights, the Kalal, the Alexander, this fight. I mean, I think it's time now where the Mayweather fight is going to have to happen.
Two more questions, please.
Amir, Chris Algieri and his trainer developed a game plan that they wanted to be aggressive and sit down his punches. And he caught you with overhand right in the first round, caught you with some punches. Can you tell us about the effect of those punches, and did you at all feel hurt during this fight?
I didn't. Obviously, I knew he caught me with some good shots. He did hurt me. He did catch me with some good clean shots, and I just had to regroup myself and go back to, you know, what works for me. So when I went back to what works for me, it was okay. But you know, and it was early in the fight. Obviously, it was a little cold. But yeah, you know, you have to do the respect. Obviously, you're going to go in a fight, you're going to get punched, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hit. But at any time the fight will be hurt, obviously, he did catch me some good shots, and I was there in front of him. I did say 147 is a very good division for me, and I feel very comfortable at this weight. So, and you know, if Chris fought a lot of the other guys like he fought me, I think he would cause them a lot more problems, you know. So maybe, I think this was probably the most dangerous time I fought someone like Chris, because he's come off a defeat, and you know, he wanted to prove a point, and fighting him in his own backyard, having a new trainer as well. I know how much of a massive difference that makes, you know, when you have a new trainer, because you want to impress, and also impress people who, you know, who are watching you, and then thinking he had me at the right time because he thought, I'm really looking past this fight. Whereas I wasn't really, but obviously the questions that were being asked, how can you not look past this fight? You know, all the people are just talking about Mayweather. I mean, I was at the press conference and people were just talking about Mayweather, and I tried to just say to them, look, I'm fighting with Chris Algieri, man. You know, so there was a lot of pressure on, you know, probably both of us, because obviously he wanted to prove a point, and I had to prove a point as well.
Amir, by the time you guys got in the ring tonight, and he was already taller than you, by the time you got in the ring tonight, how big do you think he was? Was he the biggest guy you actually had to fight?
He was quite big, yeah. I mean, he was strong, and he was just all around, you know, quiet. I mean, it was really strong. He was just coming forward. I think he had a game plan where he just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go in there, I'm gonna keep my hands tight, I'll get caught with shots. He knew he was gonna get caught with shots. He just wanted to try to dishearten me. I think that's what his game plan was. He wasn't bothered about getting caught, getting hit. He just wanted to dishearten me. And I think, you know, sometimes when a fighter puts that in his head, look, I'm going to win this fight. I want to make it a dog fight. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to give you 100%. And, you know, sometimes it works. Obviously, he's been in with the big name like Manny Pacquiao. When you've been in with a big name like Manny Pacquiao, you know, he's gonna get confident going into this fight because he's thinking, oh, for distance with money. But Amir Khan, you know, he's a normal fighter. Not big money, but obviously, especially in Macau where the fight was. Yeah, another thing was he traveled all the way to a different country, you know, it's an 18-hour flight plus, you know, and obviously that can sometimes affect you as well. But I feel a great fight. I mean, I've learned a lot from this fight. And this is what I wanted, you know, I don't want to fight where I can walk into the fight and win it so comfortably because I want to learn anything. These are the fights that you learn things from. A fight like this where you do get caught, you do get hit, you might lose a round or two. But this is when you learn and become a better fighter because you go back home and you watch the video. I didn't watch much when I beat Devin Alexander in the whitewash, and it was so easy to win that fight. I didn't go back home and watch that fight because it seemed to me I did everything easy. But in this fight, obviously, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and work on my techniques and things. You know, I did a lot of things wrong, and I need to definitely improve myself. So it's only going to make me a better fighter. So these fights are the ones that you do learn from a lot.
Thank you.